Light breaks the shadow of the weary heart. Truth cuts the dark like a flaming dart. Voices rising strong to lift the call. This is the time we give it all. Lynne Scott Hagerman bringing the fire. Words that ignite hearts burning higher. Faith and power, no chains can bind. Step into the light, leave fear behind.
Welcome to Patriots Prayer Network. I'm Lynne Scott Hagerman, where faith meets truth, fear has no place, and courage anchored in Christ leads the conversation. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a survivor of child trafficking and medical experimentation that occurred underground at a U.S.-based university medical center tied to declassified government MKUltra programs. I am the voice they tried to silence, and I am silent no more. Praise God. Today, I stand as an international award-winning human resource consultant, marathoner, and weightlifter, living proof that restoration is possible in mind, body, and spirit with the Lord Jesus Christ. My calling is clear and unwavering. I'm to expose the darkness, elevate survivors and whistleblowers, reveal the truth, restore lives, and protect our little ones. This broadcast airs Tuesday through Friday and Sunday across all Patriots Prayer Network broadcast platforms at 2 o'clock Central Time. Please be sure to visit qgrit.org. That's God's aftercare plan for the little ones once they're rescued from above ground and below ground trafficking, as well as to help adults with any type of trauma. And also be sure to visit liveyoungerwithlynne.com, where I'm an independent LifeWave distributor. LifeWave won Stem Cell Innovator of the Year award. They also invested 10 years into stem cell research that resulted in over 70 patents and a simple drug-free patch. It's time to get healthy and stay healthy because we have work to do for such a time as this. And I want to thank each of you for helping support my ministry through your purchases. Now let's continue bringing everything into the light and presence of God. Joining me today is Michael Jaco, a former Navy SEAL and CIA operative who spent many years serving our nation in combat zones and other high-risk environments. He brings a rare insider perspective on today's most pressing current events, and he is also my friend and mentor and leader in LifeWave. Michael, it's so good to have you here.
It's good to be back, Lynn. And, I always enjoy these shows because it's a very elevated, audience. And, being with you, we can, talk about these different things that most people don't, they don't go down these rabbit holes, but I think everybody loves it.
Yes, I agree. And our first rabbit hole, actually, Michael, is going to be about aliens, UFOs, fallen angels, the Nephilim. We're just going to jump right in there. I have a clip from Michael Gates, and I want to try to play it. I don't play clips very often, folks that are watching, so you may see a little technical things here and there, but we're going to jump on in, and then I want you to comment about this.
Great.
Information will be the biologics that are not human that have been discovered. And like even some of the briefings that aren't classified just need to be out in the public. I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group, members of Congress, to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
What do you mean non-human biologics? Like this?
Well, that was the testimony of David Grush before the House Oversight Committee,
Yeah.
which I joined, and the testimony was that in crashes of craft that had been recovered by the CIA and through a special program that the CIA had for crash recovery, that it wasn't just the hard materials, it was also biologics, but that they couldn't identify a human source of those biologics.
Okay, so before we jump in, I have a little share. So I never thought about this topic before in terms of like UFOs and aliens or anything, Michael. And I was doing a show with Bishop Jim O'Connor, who's a friend of ours, and we were recording, and he was close to Mar-a-Lago, and I was looking in the ocean, and live we had 7 UFOs appear in a mothership. And I'd never seen that in my life. And I said, Bishop Jim, you've got UFOs over your shoulder. And he just took it in stride. You know how he is. But they appeared during 3 shows like that. And, we're both very, of course, prophetic. And neither of us felt any need to like bind demons like they were evil forces. Mm-hmm. And I talked to the Lord about it afterward. And he goes, Lynne, he said, I want you to think about that as if they're angels flying those spaceships, the good angels, because and I honestly, Michael, I felt like they were sitting there eating popcorn, watching the show. And I've seen him outside my kitchen window a couple of times too. So that's, I know you're an expert in this, and I am. The exposure's coming. I'm so anxious to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So it looks, the reveals are coming. Trump is revealed, and former President Obama, revealed. So we have, it's like the slow drip that we've had, for decades is starting to increase. It's becoming a stream instead of a drip. So at some point it'll be like a fire hose. And then what happens? Because I think that, this is part of the awakening of humanity. It's been part of what we're about for thousands and thousands of years. We can go back, you can see in, paintings and so forth. You can see alien craft in some of the ancient paintings on stone carved walls. Aliens are in there. I've been to temples in Egypt where they have reptilian looking beings in there. In the, Egyptians, they had like birdmen and all kinds of crazy stuff. So this, breeding program is not something new. It's been going on for, thousands of years. So why Matt Gaetz of all people? Why would they come to Matt Gaetz?
Yeah.
He's you can tell he's having a little bit of difficulty talking about it.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And so is that because he's been, fed this information and this is what you're going to say? Or is he like most people in the beginning stages, like you and I, when we first started to reveal the stuff that we knew, it's a little bit difficult to get it out at first.
That's true.
So is he in that category, or is he just he's revealing because they told him reveal, right? So I don't know. So I'm just observing a lot of this going on right now. Now, I believe at some point, like I said, the reveals will become much, much faster. At some point, we're going to have some people that are, I'm from Venus, or I'm from, this planet. We've been helping you for a long time. We've had a little bit of that trickle in over the years, and some people just discount it. But I think it's going to come a little bit heavier, a little bit stronger, a little bit more believable, a little bit irrefutable proof that's coming. For a lot of us, it's been irrefutable proof for a long time. For me, I've seen this stuff. I've been involved with it on certain levels, so I know it exists. Now you talk about how you were involved in these universities that they're doing genetic testing and so forth in these universities, and they've been doing it like for a long time, decades and decades and decades, and like I said, thousands of years really if you go back in time. So is that part of what we're going to reveal? Because that's a horrific side of it, but there's a positive side of it too. We want the positive side to come out, and of course the negative side wants to remain in control, because they're, for the most part, I think, in control right now. And their control is slipping. So will at some point we get a potential Project Bluebeam, which is a fake alien invasion? I talked to Juan O'Savin the other day, and I asked him that question because I'm seeing all this stuff starting to come out very fast. I'm like, it seems like they're setting the stage for it. His answer was not yet. Now, the reason why he said not yet is because once we get to the point where arrests start to happen, then they're going to really pull out all of the stops, because they know that their lives are in danger all the way to the top, and their control is slipping to the point where they'll probably never regain it back. I believe we're moving in that direction, but will they come out with because we've talked about Project Bluebeam for a long time, but we talked about a possible the COVID pandemic. A lot of us talked about that for a long time, but it's still, really hammered people. People got locked down easily on that. So I don't know that we're that much more. I think we are to a certain extent, but not much more evolved consciously wise, as far as like their plans and their manipulations and so forth.
So then Project Bluebeam, that would be the enemy making, because we know that this is real. The aliens, UFOs, fallen angels, good angels, we know it's real. Yep. And I mean, it's even so for the people in the audience listening, the Old Testament talks about the Nephilim. And when the angels fell from heaven with Satan, that's the fallen angels. And they bred with, you'll notice the scripture, they thought human women were beautiful, they bred with them, and then they created the giants on the earth, which we see, all their buildings still to this day, so very much that way. And then as children in church, we used to sing that song, Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. I don't know if you remember singing that. I know you're raised Baptist church. Yeah,
I remember that. I love that song, actually.
Yeah, it's a UFO, right? I mean, what the wheels turning, how would you describe a UFO back during Old Testament times? Sure. So it's all over the Bible, and more people are waking up and realizing it, and wondering, how this is going to be revealed. So with Project Bluebeam, that would be the enemy making a fake alien invasion to terrify us.
Yes.
Okay.
And we know this has happened before in the past, where H.G. Wells basically did the War of the Worlds. All he was doing was reading this book on air live, and
yes,
people flipped out. They thought it was a real invasion. They came in like halfway into it or whatever, and Mars is attacking, and there was like huge problems with that. But that was a test to see how people would respond, and they didn't respond well. So they thought it was real, and they flipped out bad. So I think people were wrecking cars, and I think people died, from that show, and they were traumatized for probably, I don't know, maybe the rest of their lives. But this is part of the thing that they want. They want to push people away from this reveal, which is going to be positive. Now, the problem that I have with Matt Gaetz, releasing that information, that level of information is way above top secret. So why and how did he get the clearance to get that information? Because I've talked about this stuff, and they have come after me and destroyed my life, and tried to kill me multiple times. Like I would say more than half a dozen times, attempts on my life. So some of that was from revealing the alien stuff. So they don't play around with that. So that's another reason why, I'm watching, people like that reveal, even those people that were involved in these programs. I'm the same thing. I revealed hardly anything, and they destroyed my life, right? And these guys are revealing massive amounts of information. It doesn't fit. So there's definitely a movement by certain groups to reveal this information to set up, I believe, a Project Bluebeam type of scenario.
Tom Althouse, the author of The Matrix, they stole it from him, but he talks about whenever he was involved with organizations that were faith-based, and they were going to be the faith arm of the New World Order, that they were planning on doing a Project Bluebeam with Jesus and have Jesus in the sky like a second coming. And so I kind of wonder, is that maybe going to be part of what we see too? Because anything could happen with Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think it'll be multiple things like that. There could be, where whole cities are decimated by these aliens coming in and causing a war of the world type situation. So there's talk about that. It's been revealed by, the Project not Mockingbird, but where they brought in the Nazis. Paperclip, thank you. And so you had Werner von Braun, who was the head of NASA and was the head of the Nazi, rocket program. So the V1 and V2 rockets that they were developing with slave labor in tunnel systems under Germany and so forth, and then they would launch these rockets into Britain. At one point, it almost brought Britain completely to their knees. It was so effective. If they had known how effective it was, they probably would have picked up the pace on it. It was far more effective than their bombing program. So we're seeing that right now in the Middle East. The Iran is very, very effective with their rocket program. Their drones and missiles and so forth are extremely effective. I talked about this probably 3 decades ago when I said that drones would replace a lot of aircraft, most aircraft. So, and that's what we're seeing right now in Ukraine and Russia. Russia is on its 5th generation of drones, which are getting more and more advanced. America would probably be one of the last to go into drones because of the money that's made from the industrial military complex, where they make, some of these jets are $100 million a piece. So they're not going to give those up. So those pilots, highly trained, and they love, flying their jets. I know those guys they're great, but still we have a technology that's far more effective and advanced really in a lot of those jets. So now President Trump is starting finally, because he's seeing the light, or the military industrial complex is like, we have to move into the drone program, otherwise we're going to fail at some point. We got pushed to that point in this war that we're having right now with Iran and some of the proxies that we have, like Israel, and then some other groups around the Middle East, which I think will become very apparent when the ground war starts. We'll see a lot of this stuff. Drone technologies, they need to put up fencing around our high-tech aircraft. We had one aircraft that was in Saudi Arabia, $500 million aircraft, and the Iranians shot a drone at it and blew it up. So it's only one of 5. So now we only have 4. So that's a lot of money. So they need to put up fencing like what they've done in Ukraine and in Russia. They put up fencing along the roads and over their aircraft now. In Russia, they launched drones through this special, they had they sent these box cars or something that had the drones inside of them. And they were supposedly, delivering, food or whatever. And they got close enough. So they just opened up and the drones came out and they hit their nuclear aircraft that take nuclear weapons and drop them on, if there was a nuclear war. So they damage, like their nuclear aircraft. Unbelievable. With drones that cost like, a few $1,000s, and here they're knocking out, like for us, they knocked out a $500 million plane, destroyed it. It's gone, not usable. The guts of it are burnt out and everything. So we have to adapt and overcome a lot of this stuff. Now, other things that I think we're still in the alien angel stuff. I think that, like for me, I had an Archangel Michael experience, which basically, took my level of spirituality and capability. Like Jesus said, these things I do, and you will do an even greater.
That's
So
right.
I'm doing things with my consciousness now after being awakened by Archangel Michael, sending out the love vibration and so forth. Very, very effective at overcoming the demonic realm. Now the angelic realm, so that's the archangel. So the angelic realm, I think, is involved because we just saw this amazing pilot rescue
Yes.
Iran. So I feel very strongly that the angels were involved in protecting him and getting him to safety. And that was just miracle beyond miracles. I've trained for pilot rescue as a Navy SEAL, and it's very complicated. It very rarely goes well, and this one was like the most complicated, I think, in all history. So I always think that when something like that, in Navy SEALs, we know we're protected. They're quite often because we do unbelievably impossible tasks. We're like, yeah, we don't want to do it unless it's impossible. It's like too easy. So they give us the most impossible things. It's like, we're going to have you do, that looks like something we can probably pull off. Yeah, we'll do that. It's probably, and it never, every operation that I've been in, it never, ever has gone off as we briefed it. And we brief it to the most ultimate complications that can happen. And it always becomes even more complicated. And because of our training, because of our adaptability and protection, I think connection to God's source, I think also helps because you get the intuition to overcome something, instantaneous that you would never, ever figure out. And I've been involved in so many operations like that. And, even now in my life now, I just overcome so many different challenges because I'm tapped into that intuitive God space.
Because you're protected. One of our topics I want to talk about today are the terrorism cells. But one night I was at a gathering, and I had two angels, a couple feet, about 7 or 8 feet tall, and they were sentries. They were guards. And when I went out to run the next day, I knew from the Lord that there was a terrorist in my community plotting and planning from the Middle East. And I kept running because I'm a marathoner. I run all the time. And I noticed that the man didn't see me. And I saw one of the angel's arms was in front of me. So I was completely shielded and invisible, which is part of being in dangerous situations. And I think people need to be aware that these things are possible for what could be coming up, not only in the United States, but worldwide, that we do, with God. And with the things that we don't, you and I see, I call it beyond the veil. Most of the majority of people don't, but there are angels everywhere that are the New Testament calls them ministering spirits. They're here to help us.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And, even the alien level is out there as well. Probably in every, battle. If we go all the way back to Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, you can see where they talk about how gods and goddesses were fighting with the different groups. Now, some of them seem like they're angelic. And so working on both sides, dark maybe, or maybe some kind of angelics that are, I don't know, whatever level. But I think the Greeks were the good guys. Some people that don't quite remember what I'm talking about or remember those stories. The Trojan horse, basically, they couldn't, for 10 years they fought. And it's very similar to what's going on now, because the Trojans, who are basically Persian, were blocking the strait that was right there. I think the boss. And they were basically, you got to pay us if you want to come through here. So the Greeks are like, that's bullshit. We've been doing this for, centuries, and you're not going to like charge us. So we'll go to war with you. So that's what happened. Very similar to what's happening now in the Middle East. So these things seem to go on until they reach their final conclusion. I think we're in the final conclusion of this evil side that's been hampering and stopping America, not America, but the humanity from reaching its full potential. We reach a certain potential, and then they knock us back down, and then we claw our way back, and they knock us back down. This is one of the few times I think that I believe very strongly. I don't think that we're going to overcome their machinations and evil and so forth.
So that ties into another question that I had, the war that's going on now. What do you think is going to be happening next? We're hearing all kinds of conflicting things, like we're going to have a nuclear war at any minute, it's doomsday, all the way to we've almost won and it's going to be behind us. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a done deal already that we won it. The nuclear side won't happen. It's not allowed. So it's, the positive ETs have a firmer, stronger grasp. And why is that? Because we, the people of Earth, have finally reached a point where we can acknowledge their presence, where we can accept their help. Because before, think about it. A child is trying to walk. You're not going to like pick them up. Oh, don't, you'll hurt yourself. They have to like him walk. And that's the way humanity's been for a long time. So the adult in the house, the positive ETs, which are very advanced and multiple levels, have been waiting for us to reach a certain point where, they can actually, get more involved with us and bring us to a higher level.
So then you believe sometime soon, I'm thinking, that things are going to be turning around.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Even more.
When we say soon, soon has already happened. The fact that Trump is, going after Iran. So decades and decades that I fought, in the Middle East and, overcoming, different challenges. The octopus tentacles from Iran were the ones that were fomenting the terrorism and so forth throughout the Middle East. Hezbollah, Hamas, even Afghanistan, you name it, Iran, not Iran, but Iraq. So I think that this is the first time, in 47 years that someone had the audacity to go against the Iran, which is basically part of the deep state puppetry, which was going to be part of controlling the world with their nuclear weapons. And so now that's not happening. That's being turned back, being, completely extinguished. Of course, they're going to continue to fight. I've said in my shows that they will continue to fight until they're completely eliminated. And that's the way that's every time I've gone against these guys, that's the way it's been. Now, I think, I'll give your audience a little piece that's, I think, ahead, and we'll see how that works, because things will shift and change. Just like I said, there's plans that are made, but once you start to implement those plans, you have to change them, on the dime. So I believe that, last night, or maybe our time yesterday, we went in and hammered inside of Iraq, Iranian, and this is something, that's why we had such a hard time in Iraq, because the Iranians were funding it. Remember, Soleimani was their general that brought in all of the improvised roadside bomb weapons and so forth. That was from Iran. So Iran was killing, our service members for almost for a couple decades now. Really, I don't think they're doing it anymore. But we went in and basically hammered a militia group that was from Iran, was being supported by Iran, and we went in and destroyed them last night. Right. So why do you think that is? Are we going to launch from Iraq into Iran? Remember all that equipment? It took a long time to get enough equipment to the point where we could launch into Iraq and take it down within, like, I think 36 days or something like that. We completely took that whole country down, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that material is still there. and maybe they planned that. I don't know. But when I was there, the times that I spent there, we had huge bases full of this tanks and armored personnel carriers and so forth, helicopters, you name it, bases full of that stuff. I don't think it came back to America. I think it stayed there under the guise of we're going to help the Iraqi army, keep them equipped so they can withstand terrorism and so forth. So we may see, I believe, a launch from Iraq. And if that is the case, I will always, for the rest of my life, say that Iraq is America. And I think it is now, but I would always say from that point on, if that does happen, that Iraq is like unbelievably magnificent. Right? So I would say that until my dying days. But we'll see. We'll see how this works out, because these Iranians, with their money and their control and their savagery, right?
Right.
ISIS, Trump came in, ISIS had been around for years and years and years. And I kept saying, when I was in the CIA, I was like, why don't we go in and take down al-Baghdadi? Because he's the head of ISIS. And once you cut that snake off, that thing is going to die. And so, once they just blew me off CIA, because there was something else going on, obviously, through this, which I believe is the deep state. Right. So the CIA, and we have a lot of military members that were in, and still Matt Gaetz just last week fired 20 top generals and admirals.
Yeah.
The cleansing is still going on of this deep state apparatuses within the military. Trump did it during his term. When Biden came in, it probably, clicked back up a little bit. And now Trump and Matt Gaetz are cleaning it out right now. So, we have to make sure that's cleaned out, because they can be a problem once we go in. And part of that problem was someone leaked that there was another pilot that was missing. And I guess they found out who that was, and FBI has arrested them. So, we're going to continue to have these problems, but launching from Iraq into Iran, Iran, with all the equipment that's there, we would probably take that. It'd probably take a few more days than it did, because Iran is bigger. Iran is like two Texases, all right, in size. And, it would take a little bit to go from one end to the other. But I think there will be multiple attacks from multiple areas, which will, put their forces all over the place. And I think we may see a month, 45 days at the most, and we take that whole country. And I believe there's no way that this war is going to stop until we do that.
Which is actually exciting that it would be that soon. Yeah. So since that is the tentacles of the deep state is basically then in its final breath.
Yeah, but again, that could happen fairly quickly. But then you have the City of London. So at some point, the City of London has to be taken, and the Vatican City has to be taken. So how much longer will that be? It could take years.
Okay.
I think that we're moving in the right direction. You have most of the European countries that have these deep state apparatus that are controlling France, Britain, not Italy, but there's so many, just like here in America, there's so many, negative deep state, players that are in Italy. It's tough for, Meloni to basically overcome that. So it's a process. And, we have some countries that are doing really good. Orban in Hungary, if he's able to maintain his power, I think they're going through an election process this month. So if he's able to maintain, he's been the thorn in the side for the European Union, because they've been pressing to use Hungary to help Ukraine, and he's like, no, we're not going to do. I'm not going to get involved in that. Right? So if they can somehow work the election process like we've seen, they work the election process throughout the world. If they're able to do it there, then if he gets taken out, that's going to be a very negative for Europe. But if he maintains that toehold that he has established, continues, and Meloni in Italy continues forward. And then there's probably some other people in Germany. They had the conservatives have won massively, but still you have a very strong Nazi faction still in Germany. So we'll have to see. And NATO, I believe, is on its deathbed. Some countries like Spain, which has refused to allow us to land our planes on the basis that we developed with them to protect them for decades and decades, for 50 plus years or however long it's been. We should just pull them out and send them to Iraq and take care of business and then bring them home. So that's the way I would do it. Is it going to happen that way? I think, there's other people that are talking like I started talking about that about a week ago, and now it seems to be catching a little bit of traction. So it's possible that's going to happen. Will it happen for every country? France, Spain, maybe a few others, Germany, pull bases. Poland used to be a very strong ally, but has turned against us. So we can't continue to, our hard-earned money, protecting people that don't support us and don't have our backs and will never have our backs on situations like this, because we're taking down the deep state. So the deep state will eventually be taken down in those countries as well. So that's why I say, yes, although we're going to see some major pushes and some major victories and easy victories like we saw in Venezuela, Cuba will be a fairly easy victory, which is coming. You will have difficulty in some of these other European countries where the deep state is dug in and they have a lot of the populace that believes in them and so forth. So there's some serious problems and hurdles to overcome, but it's a process, and we will be victorious throughout the world.
So what do you see happening in these areas for the rest of the year? What do you see in the future, the near future?
Well, it's a process just like it was in America, over the last 8 years or so.
Yeah.
People awakening, once Trump came in. So the same thing I don't think it will be as long, because they've been watching America awaken, the whole world. Places like Australia are still, fairly, locked down and literally starting to lock down, just like we saw with COVID. So this energy crisis, I think, was planned long ago. So we saw the pipeline that was coming from Russia was blown up.
Right.
In Germany, they have a coal mine which would bring out enough coal that would power the whole country for 3 years. One coal mine. And they're flooding it. And they just told all of their 17 to 47-year-olds, don't leave the country more than 3 months. And if you plan on that, you let us know, because and the last time they did that, they were getting ready to go to war. So, you have to look at the bigger picture, see what is going on with these deep staters. What are they planning? Locking us down through energy crisis that's they were manufacturing, but Trump is coming in to try and nip it in the bud, kind of like what he did with Operation Warp Speed with the COVID vaccination.
Yeah.
Get it out a lot quicker and took them off guard and basically foiled their plan of complete domination of the world. So he's doing the same thing again. They knew he would probably do something like this. He'd be onto them. Maybe he was. He'd already started to move in that direction. So that's why they tried so hard to get him out. Multiple assassination attempts, which I think were basically, they knew about them and hijacked them and managed them like a movie, right? They controlled the movie. So we're seeing a lot of that that's going on. And it'll continue until the point where we reach complete control. So it will be a process, and I don't think it'll happen this year, and I don't think it'll happen next year, but maybe by another 2 or 3 years, we'll see pretty much the world like we saw World War II. Once the Nazis were defeated, we thought.
Right.
Then we had worldwide celebrations. Oh, we won. We will have a real one in years, maybe 2-3 years from now. There will be a worldwide celebration of the takedown of the deep state.
Well, that's something to definitely look forward to. Do you think we're going to have an energy lockdown this year then, Michael?
It's moving that direction.
Okay.
If if this doesn't get turned around, which I don't think it will, in a short period of time, there's already countries that are already starting to restrict, Australia being one of them, and calling, for people to, there's only going to be enough gas. You'll only have enough gas to, get 3 times a week to go out and get groceries and then go back home. Wow, that's a lockdown, so and worse than the one we saw before. So yeah, they got away with it last time, and they're pushing it again. So we can say we're going to resist. We're not going to do that, but yeah, you'll be on your bicycle, because there won't be any gas, because they'll control it, make sure that no one gets it. And that's what they're doing around the world right now. So it's a world. The deep state's worldwide, right?
Right.
And they still have a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of influence. They're vicious. They don't have any sanctity for life, like we're seeing in Iran. They were telling people to go and children to go and surround all the areas where Trump said he was going to bomb.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's one of the reasons why President Trump, backed off. So like, oh yeah, look, we're negotiating with Iran. We're going to open the strait, and yeah, like 10 ships got through, and then they shut it down again. So, are we going to bomb? Because he said, if the strait doesn't open, then we're going to bomb. So, I think it's just a matter of time. So he's, controlling the movie, and they know how they want it to move, how they want it to, because a lot of these places like Britain and some of these, other countries like China, they're desperate for that oil to move again. And Trump is like, yeah, it's going to be open. Don't worry. We're negotiating, and nothing happens, right? So
Right.
he's basically starting to bleed them, and they thought they were going to be able to get it and control it, and get the oil, and it would be enough for their deep state bubbas. But they're not even getting enough oil for their deep state bubbas. So it's not looking good for them.
Good, because I was going to ask you what you thought what you saw President Trump and the good guys doing to try to not have this worldwide energy lockdown.
United States is the biggest producer of oil in the world. Now we use most of it, but we could up the amount of oil and gas that we can create. President Trump's already gone off the coast of California, California deep state, restricting the amount of oil that was coming from those oil wells that are off the coast that are massive oil wells. The United States has such an incredible amount, more than any other country in the world. But getting access to that, like in California and probably some of these other states, has been a problem. But Trump is taking off the shackles, and he allowed. Now they're going to start to pump more oil. I said that because California was like the Green New Deal, they're getting rid of their, putting a lot of pressure on their gas, what we got, the refineries, running them out of the state. They're running down to Texas. They need to stay in California because that's where a lot of the oil is, and they can mass produce it very quickly. So I think that President Trump's going to make a move to, have those oil companies come back. So it's a process, but we can see a very quick, victory in there. Because look where I think before Trump came in, I don't know. I'd have to go back in time and look, but I know that we were far down the list on where, on as far as like producing oil.
Yeah.
Now we're one, and the next two, Russia and Saudi Arabia, in that order, we produce more oil than both of them. So now, and that can be ramped up, and that can be transported. In America, like Trump likes it, we can make a deal.
Yeah.
And instead of like giving it away like we have been, because our military was built by the deep state to control the world, and now it's being used to go after and destroy the deep state. I love it.
I love all of this good news. I know our friend Dr. Jan Halper Hayes, she has said because of all this chaos 83% of the world is now suffering from severe trauma. And it has been so wonderful to be able to help people with our LifeWave technology. Speaking of the love your mug. Yeah, I have your dark one and the t-shirt. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. So we're doing amazing things with our technology.
Yeah, definitely. Now, as Jan Halper Hayes and some friends that I have informed me that they are getting the call up for Gitmo, right? So
Oh, this is exciting. Okay. Gitmo. Okay. I'm all ears.
yeah, so we've heard through the grapevine a lot of people going down to Gitmo. That is a reality, and they have to stand their trials. Now they built up Gitmo. Remember when Trump came in his first administration, he built up Gitmo, massive buildup, and he's pumped more money into Gitmo. They've created more cells, 59 more cells. They've added on to their old timers hospital, which I guess that means they're going to get a lot of old timers like a Nancy Pelosi type or whatever, and and they're going to be there for a long time, so they will need geriatric treatment and so forth. So they built up a hospital for geriatric, and there's no terrorists there hardly, if there's a few.
Right.
Why they built all of these new cells, and they added 3 more. So they put in 2 during Trump's 46 presidency, because I'm 45 and I was 46 and I'm 47.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that, military guys, you can leave. All right. So, so during that time frame, they built up. They didn't shut down because Obama was like going to shut it down. He couldn't do it. And Biden had talked about it. He couldn't do it. So even during Biden's time frame, they added 2 more, or for the first time put in 2 where they hold military tribunals, courtrooms.
Yes.
That can be televised. They've just now added 3 more.
Oh,
so that's
yay.
wow. So I guess they're going to be busy. It's like we've been talking about. But just think about it. And they've activated 600 JAG, basically military lawyers.
Yeah.
So the judicial arm that is strangling us from the deep state.
Yep.
We're just going to bypass it. I think that at some point that President Trump will suspend habeas corpus, like Abraham Lincoln did, and that'll allow the military tribunals to start.
When do you think that might be, Michael?
I keep saying that I think it's going to happen within a month or 2. But I said that a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Same thing, you have great plans, but the plans sometimes don't work out, and you have to readjust. So that's the way military operations are. And we're in a military operation, have been since Trump basically came into office the first time.
Yeah, we are. And Derek Johnson, he will talk about, he's been watching the planes ever since he became public. All the planes transporting people constantly to Gitmo. Yeah. And I have to say, Michael, I don't know if you've noticed this, and this is a curiosity to me. Starting, I want to say 3 weeks ago, I was in my town out driving around, and I thought, where are all the people? Is this a holiday, like school's out or something? And it wasn't. And I thought, well, this is a one-off. Michael, every day when I am out, there are less people. I'm just saying. And I have seen over the past, this has been happening for 3 years, but I'll see, we were told that our interstates were built in World War II for plane craft to land. And I'll be out running. And I remember one day God said, Lynn, I want you to run this way. And I did. And I went to a major highway and I saw planes lining up like they were practicing to land. And wow. I thought, huh. And then I've also seen planes in these same interstate areas where they'd be the planes like we would get into as passengers to fly somewhere, but they're hovering. They don't move. They just stay there. And I'm sitting there driving, looking, and I'm like, people, look, we have planes. We have fixed wing planes that are just there. And so it just makes me, I mean, I don't know, Michael, I have absolutely no idea. But one thing I know for sure from my childhood, I have 44 times the visual and auditory acuity of people who don't have such severe horrific trauma. I see that, plus the spiritual side. I see things that other people do not, but this is real with my eyes. It's not
Oh, yeah.
a seer prophetic. And I have yet to go out and see more people again. It's almost like something happened and some people are gone. I don't know if you've seen that or what you think of that, or
Yeah, the you know, kind of like a rapture type thing that's starting to happen, where the lower vibrational people just don't vibrate with us anymore, and they're just like they're gone. And those of us that are raising our consciousness, which we know we are,
yeah,
you're talking about capabilities and abilities that, you know, I have many, you have many. We're all unique. Some people can say, I'd like to have your capabilities. Well, I've trained people to have my capabilities, but they take it and go even further and do amazing things with it. So
yeah.
that's the beauty of that, because our consciousness is reaching those points where we can do that kind of stuff. So I think there is a type of a rapture that's happening. I've talked a lot about NPCs, you know, non-player characters that are here on a massive scale,
Yeah.
and they reach their limit. They reach their limit of same thing of you know, their duty to come here and play a role or whatever, and they're fading out as well. Now, of course, you know, we have a vaccine problem too. A lot of people are actually, you know, passing. They're covering that up from the vaccine, which is very sad. But we help people with LifeWave, because LifeWave was designed. One of the designs of LifeWave was to help the mitochondria and so forth fire again, and that's what the vaccine has done, to come in and, you know, compromise our cellular structure, our DNA to the point where it can be we could be human beings could be inhabited by demonic forces, right?
Mhm.
Make it easy. And that's why the Vatican, there is a good side of the Vatican, just like there's a good military, just like there's a good, you name it. There's an evil side, of course, too, we know about. But there is a positive movement to help flush out the demonic realm that is really rising up right now. And why? How is that happening? And that's because of the vaccination program. And that was designed, I believe, by negative ETs to use us, to allow them to come in, like you talk about the fallen angels, 200 fallen angels in Mount Hermon, and they created a city below that ball where they sacrifice children.
That's
So
right.
that's part of what they do. You know, that's part of what the elite are all about. You know, and that we're getting wise to that. We're not going to vibrate there, and we're going to take that very low, very negative vibrational frequency and snuff it out.
Exactly. In more ways than one, we have a launch of our incredible X2O light infused water machine,
Absolutely.
which sold out in like 2 hours, which was astounding. Praise God. I was able to order mine and help all of my people order it.
Yeah.
But the
I haven't
testimonies,
ordered one.
the testimonies
Should I just wait and let other people get it? And it's going to sell out. I'm getting mine, and it's, you want to have a backup. I want to have a backup because it's so effective. It's so incredibly effective on so many different levels. It's like the next level. We talk about the wearable med bed,
Yeah.
which is the patches that we have, X39, which is, you know, the great one, and now we have something that's another level above that. But utilizing them along with Celergize will take people to an incredible level. Like you're going to get that water machine, and
Yes.
you're going to find out. It's
I'm
going
gonna when am I going to find out, Michael?
you're going to find out that it's going to, like, you know, take your consciousness, your physique, your you know, any kind of little issues you may have somewhere, which I've had several that were, I think at some point could have been life-threatening, and completely turned them around. Issues that I had, like with skin, a lot of former SEALs, you know, get some skin problems.
Yeah.
Mine was really starting to get really bad
Yeah.
after 25 years of dealing with it, you know, completely turned it around. There's still
Really?
little tiny spots that are
Yeah.
still there. So it's still active, still actively, doing its thing. Part of that is I was watching my acidic level. You urinate on these little strips and it'll tell you where I used to be like super alkaline. For whatever reason, from all the attacks and bioweapons and all the stuff that's getting dumped on us through chemtrails,
Yeah.
my acidic level really went to a very high level. It's almost back to where it was, and I attribute it because the water is alkalizing to your body. So that's an indicator. My skin, going back to pre 25 years ago, it's unbelievable. So other things that I know that have been issues are going to turn around, and I'll talk about those in the future. But anything that you have, we've had many people that were on death's door, and it turned a lot of that around. And we can't talk about some of the things that we'll do, because that's part of the deep state, controlling this, and they've tried to stop this from coming out.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, David Schmidt's talked to some of the people that are in our group and told them he's never seen anything like it. The attempts to like take this down. So it is still, you should get on the waiting list. The sooner you get on the waiting list, the better. So yeah, I was like, how many do they have? And we were getting, reports that there were like thousands, and we're like, that's not going to be enough. So
I don't think so either.
I think just in our group, if we over the next few months, if we had, if it was there, we would have sold a couple. I think we heard there were like a couple thousand. We're probably going to go through if and when, I won't say if, but when this becomes more manufactured more, because I guess it's manufactured in China, and within the next month or two it's supposed to come to America, so they should be able to ramp it up. So once it gets ramped up, we're going to see this thing just unbelievable. Numbers of people are going to start to utilize this because they're going to hear about it. We have a Miracle Monday show, and I always love to have you come on because you have so many. Your crew has some really great evidence of things that've been happening positively for them. So what we're going to see that happen on another scale, way above what we're already seeing with the water machine.
It's amazing, just the different stories that we've been hearing, the testimonies so far. I know I've heard of a woman who runs a clinic, and when someone comes in her office with a bad attitude, she sprays water, and all of a sudden, they don't. The implications, Michael. Can you imagine us getting a hold of the chemtrail sprayers and putting the water in it? I mean, really? That's my vision. I mean, why can't we spray everybody? David Schmidt, the inventor, he says that his mother or his mother-in-law ask him every year, what do you want for Christmas? And he goes, world peace. And he'll talk about this. He believes this technology has the capability, it has a capability of changing people's feelings and attitudes, which can help bring that about. But that's my vision. I thought, why can't we spray the world?
Yeah, it should be holy water. They should have this in the churches.
Yes, they should.
Yeah.
They should.
Instead of sipping that wine, they should be sipping this. This is the holiest of holy water.
Exactly. And people, what the research has shown, within 15 seconds, 100% of the people have results.
I did. Yeah.
You did too. Yeah. Well, of course you did. Yeah.
And drinking it over time, like I said, I mean, my skin issue was like explodingly bad. They're like having to cut cells out and all kind of crazy stuff. And I never had that before. And it was just, stuff was popping up everywhere. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to get that water machine, because I'd heard people have miraculous, stuff. And that's what happened with me. Completely turned around. Now it's almost completely, all of it, for the first time, like I said, in 25 years, completely gone.
We have several testimonies of that too from other people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We even had a testimony come through. Pardon me?
We're gonna have a lot more soon.
Yes, we are, because it's being rolled out. I was so thrilled that so many people on our team were able to purchase it before it sold out. But thank goodness there's a wait list.
Yeah, because the sooner, that's why I encourage everybody that's listening to this, that's interested in getting Life Wave X2O light infusing water into your body, straight into your body, not from outside, straight into your body. So and the 7 different wavelengths of light, alkalizing, and it tastes unbelievable. It's not a replacement for water. It's an addition to the water that you're already consuming. So it'll take you to a different level. When you first utilize it, you want to utilize just one, right? for and Lynn, because a lot of people have heard me because I've talked about it for a little while. I work my way up to I take 3 a day, 3 waters a day, and one first thing in the morning before I consume anything on an empty stomach, and then a little bit later I'll take the Celergize AM and mix it into a water, X2O water.
Yep.
And then night before I go to bed, I do the PM with water. You don't want to do that right away because we'll be up all night and be like, it'll detox your body and, right away on a massive scale instead of like nice and gentle. It'll happen, boom. So I would say for the first 2-3 weeks or whatever, and then work your way up to another one. And maybe that'll be enough for you for a while, or maybe for the rest of, the time you're going to be utilizing it. But yeah, the Celergize is definitely a way to go. And the stem cell, X39, X49, great way to do it. Now we have only brand partners are able to purchase in the United States at this point. A couple states, 2-3 states you can't purchase it there, but by the summer you will be able to. And then I think maybe even before then, maybe a few weeks or month or whatever, depending on how quickly they can up the production rate of the water machine. Then we'll have retail, which why would you want to pay an extra $500? And if you're a brand partner, when you purchase, you will get a kickback to a certain extent. So, and then the customer plus and customer and what preferred customer,
customers, yeah,
be available to them. They won't have to. They'll pay the reduced rate of brand partner, but it's only $25 to become a brand partner. So become a brand partner, then you'll be able to go in and better if you get the patches and start on the patches. But
right.
Do at least a minimum. Become a brand partner if you're really committed to getting this absolutely incredible, one of a kind water machine, and get on the waiting list. Sooner you get on the waiting list, sooner you're going to contact. If you're like number whatever on the waiting list, so probably the waiting list is getting pretty big right now too. Yes. But the sooner you get on it, the better, because they'll do the waiting list first. They'll probably notify you and say, okay, we got enough. We got a machine for you if you're ready to purchase, and then make your purchase, and it should be there within a week or so, depending on where you're at in the country. Some people have gotten it in Florida within a week. I'm just right up from San Diego where they ship it from, so I got it in a few days. So it's an exciting time, an exciting technology that's so advanced and probably going to help a lot of people stay alive to this golden age we're going into. Otherwise, it's kind of iffy. So.
Yes, yeah. Well, and if people have questions, I have my website showing liveyoungerwithlynne.com, and there's an email you can reach out to me if you have questions, or if you want to get started on the patches at a minimum. Our X39 and X49 are excellent places to start. Matter of fact, the clinical studies with the water machine were done in conjunction with our patch technology, because it enhances everything the patches do.
Yeah, and I encourage you guys to get involved with Lynne. She's top performer on my team, number 2 right now, and I think who knows, maybe number 1 at some point. And we have an amazing team. We help each other out. We have great conversations. We have our own little mastermind group. We get together and discuss a lot things that are happening. And I think that mastermind group is the reason why a lot of us, were able to get that water machine early. So,
That's right.
Rather than waiting for it, or is it there yet? Is it there yet? No, it's gone. So yeah, I appreciate you because you're right on top of a lot of this stuff, and you really take care of your people, and your people are advancing as well as you are. So I think you're fantastic. You're God directed like I am, and you're helping a lot of people right now. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. It's what a time to be alive, and we are here to help humanity, and that's it first and foremost. And God has put in our hands. David Schmidt calls the water machine the God code, because God told him how to make it by breaking the code of Genesis through gematria. So
Yeah.
This is an incredible time.
Yeah, my wife Tracy gets insights, and she was talking about how the spear, when Jesus was on the cross, or the cross, crucified. So when he got speared, the water came out, and she likened it to being doused with the water of Christ. It's beautiful.
It is. Yeah, we had a conversation actually about that this morning, Michael. And while she was talking to me, I'll have, when Holy Spirit is heavily involved, I have what I call Holy Spirit goosebumps head to toe. And it's like he overcomes me, and it just fills me, and it overwhelms me, sometimes to the point where I start bending over. It feels great, but it's the weight of it. And she even, talked about, in terms of the water, Mary's womb, where Jesus was, and that's part of it. We see the water. We see, Jesus was baptized in the Jordan, another indication. So the water, matter of fact, whenever he died on the cross, the blood, the water, everything that came out of him, everybody who was dead came back to life. Everybody.
Wow. Yeah.
So picture being in Jerusalem then, and people who were dead walking around. And frankly, it reminds me of how you started this story with LifeWave, with those hospice testimonies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, our company is a spiritual company, to say the least.
No doubt about it. And I'm glad you shared that with me. Tracy only gives me what she thinks well, sometimes she's right. So that's the next level, what she'd share with you. That's good. And it's kind of a feminine thing. So that's good.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Well, I know our time's coming to an end. I've so enjoyed our conversation. What are your final thoughts for everybody listening in?
Yeah, the stay in the positive mindset. Things are working out in a perfect way. It seems like a lot of people are attacking Trump. That's because he's doing the work of God, and there's a demonic Luciferian realm that's been in charge of Earth for quite some time, and they're resisting to the last. But I think we're going to overcome. Again, I say think, because I don't want to sound too positive, because then people will like, oh, you're too positive. It's like you got to have some kind of edge there. But I'm completely on board with what's going on right now, and I think it's one of the most exciting times. We're going to look back on this. They're going to talk about this for thousands of years. This time frame.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Exciting. Well, to everybody listening, until next time, this is Lynne Scott Hagerman, where truth is rising, and so are we. Praise God.
Light breaks the shadow of the weary heart. Truth cuts the dark like a flaming dart. Voices rising strong to